Rachel Torres sat in the cold, sterile atmosphere of the legal office at the Miami Dolphins training facility. Across from her desk, immigration lawyer David Chen in his expensive suit was shuffling through papers with a serious expression, occasionally looking at her over his glasses. Though the Florida sun was streaming through the windows, the room felt like it had turned to ice. "Rachel, your situation is quite complex," the lawyer said, his tone offering no hope. "As a British citizen, your time to stay in America is running out, and your H-1B visa application has been denied." Rachel's stomach clenched, her blonde hair was pulled back tightly, and she gripped the edge of the desk with white knuckles. "How much time do I have?" "6 weeks. If you don't leave the country within 6 weeks, you'll be banned from entering America for 10 years. Silence filled the room. Rachel's breathing quickened. Her NFL career, her dreams, the new life she'd built in Miami, everything was in jeopardy of disappearing. "Don't I have any other options?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. David Chen paused, then looked directly into Rachel's eyes. "There is one option, but it's ethically questionable." "What do you mean?" "Marriage. If you marry an American citizen, you can apply for a green card. Of course, it would need to be a real marriage. Fake marriage is a federal crime." Rachel's heart began racing wildly. "A real marriage? But I'm not in any serious relationship right now." "Then I'm afraid your options are running out, Rachel. I'm sorry." The lawyer packed up and left the office. When Rachel was alone, she put her head in her hands. Never in her career had she felt so helpless. She pulled out her phone and called her closest friend, Maya Rodriguez. "Maya, I need your help. Seriously." "What happened, Rachel? You sound terrible." "Deportation? 6 weeks? Marriage?" Rachel's words were jumbling together. "Whoa, slow down. Come over here, let's talk." In Maya's South Beach apartment, the two friends sat side by side on the couch, discussing what had happened to Rachel. After listening to Rachel's situation, Maya took on a thoughtful expression. "Rachel, this situation is really serious. But you know, fake marriage is very risky, both legally and emotionally. Maya, I don't have any other choice. I need to stay in this country. My football life is here." Maya reached for her phone. "You know what? I have an idea, but it's pretty crazy. I'm ready to listen to anything. You know Alex Hernandez, who plays for Tampa Bay, right?" Rachel's eyebrows furrowed. "Alex, the star player for Tampa Bay Lightning? Of course I know him. What's the connection?" "He talked to me last month. Turns out he's also having visa problems. He's a Mexican citizen and needs a green card to stay in America too." Rachel's mouth fell open. "What are you trying to say?" "Mutual fake marriage. You both need to become American citizens. You could both benefit from this marriage in terms of public profile." "Maya, are you insane? Even though Alex Hernandez isn't in my league, we're still considered rival athletes. How would the media react to this?" "That's exactly why it's perfect cover. A romantic story between two athletes. No one would think it's fake." Rachel stood up and started pacing around the room. Her head was spinning. "Maya, this is too risky. What if we get caught?" "You won't get caught, just for a few years. After you both get citizenship, you divorce. Simple." "Simple? Maya, I don't even know this guy." "You do know him. I introduced you to him at the Miami Heat game last year. He's handsome, smart, and just as desperate in this situation as you are. Have you talked to him about this?" Not yet, but I could. What do you say?" Rachel was quiet for a long time. Thousands of scenarios were running through her mind. Finally, she took a deep breath. "Okay, talk to him. But Maya, if we go through with this, no one can know the truth. No one." 3 days later, Rachel met Alex Hernandez in a private section of a luxurious South Beach restaurant. Alex was dark-haired, athletically built, and had a striking appearance. In his expensive suit, he looked like a complete gentleman. "Rachel," Alex said, standing up. Maya explained the situation. "This is an unexpected proposal. For me too, Alex. But we're both in difficult positions." Alex ordered 2 glasses of wine from the waiter. The atmosphere was tense. They were both aware of how complicated this unusual situation was. "Let's speak directly," Alex said after the waiter brought their wine. "This is just business. No emotional attachment, no personal issues, just mutual benefit." Rachel nodded. "I agree. The rules need to be clear." "So what rules?" Rachel pulled out a small notebook from her bag. "I've thought about these. Rule number 1. We act like husband and wife in public, but live completely separate lives in private." "What's rule number 2?" Alex asked. "Rule number 2, if either of us enters into a romantic relationship with someone else, we're very careful. The media mustn't notice." Alex looked thoughtful. "Rule number 3, in 2 years, when we've both gotten citizenship, We divorce cleanly. Rule number 4, Rachel continued, we're completely separate financially. My money is mine. Your money is yours. Rule number 5, our families won't know the truth. This is very important. Rachel hesitated. Alex, are you sure about this 5th rule? Won't it be hard to lie to your family? A pained expression crossed Alex's face. Rachel, my mother died last year. My father lives in Mexico and doesn't speak English. For him, this will just be news that his son got married in America. I'm sorry, Rachel said softly. My family's in England too. They don't really follow English media either. Then we're agreed, Alex said, extending his hand. Business partnership. Rachel shook his hand. Business partnership. But when their hands touched, they both felt an unexpected electricity. They both immediately pulled their hands back. When? Rachel asked, looking a bit surprised. The sooner the better. Your visa time is running out. So where will we live? If the media notices that couples don't live in the same house, they'll get suspicious. Alex paused. I have a large penthouse in Miami Beach. 2 separate rooms, separate bathrooms. It would look like a real married couple, but our private spaces would be separate. Rachel took a sip of her wine. Alex, do you think this will really work? It has to work, Rachel. Neither of us has any other choice. 2 weeks later, Rachel stood in a small wedding chapel wearing a white dress next to Alex. Only Maya and Alex's teammate Carlos were there as witnesses. The atmosphere was strangely both exciting and tense. The wedding officiant, an elderly and experienced man named Robert Stevens, began the ceremony. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join Alex and Rachel in marriage. Rachel's heart was beating wildly. Even though this was a fake marriage, the whole situation felt very real. Alex Hernandez, do you take Rachel Torres to be your wife? I do, Alex said, looking directly into Rachel's eyes. Rachel Torres, do you take Alex Hernandez to be your husband? Rachel paused for a moment. Was this a lie? Was she doing the right thing? I do, she said finally. Then I pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. When this moment came, they were both frozen. They needed to kiss, but this wasn't part of their plan. Alex slowly approached Rachel. This is part of the act too, he whispered. I know, Rachel whispered back. When they kissed, they both felt something they hadn't expected. This wasn't just a fake kiss. There was something real in it. When they separated, they both looked confused. Maya applauded. Congratulations, you two. But Rachel and Alex were looking at each other, both trying to understand what had just happened. Alex's Miami Beach penthouse was breathtaking. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the ocean. Modern art adorned the walls, and luxury was evident in every detail. This is your room, Alex said, leading Rachel to a large bedroom. You have your own bathroom, closet, everything. This is considered my private space. Rachel looked around the room. Her bags and suitcase were standing in the corner, as if she were staying in a hotel. Alex, this is very spacious. I'll be comfortable. Good. I'll be staying at the other end of the hallway. I have training at 6 a.m., and I usually come home late in the evening. We won't run into each other much. Despite this plan, they were both feeling strangely uncomfortable. What about meals? Rachel asked. I usually eat out. You can do whatever you want. The kitchen is free to use. Rachel nodded, but there was something odd about it. They had become husband and wife, but they were like strangers. Alex, what's the media plan? Alex sat on the large couch in the living room. Rachel sat across from him. We'll share wedding photos on social media. We'll go out to a few public places together. If sports journalists ask, we'll say, we prefer to keep our private life private. Makes sense, Rachel said. So what will we tell our families? Alex's face tensioned. I called my dad. He was very happy. Since he can't speak English, he didn't ask for details. I'll call my family tomorrow too. They probably won't be too curious either. There was a strange silence between them. They were married, but it was like two strangers having a business meeting. Rachel, Alex said finally, this is going to be difficult for both of us. I know, but we'll make it work. We have to make it work. Alex stood up. I'm going to bed. I have early training tomorrow. You get comfortable too. Good night, Alex. Good night, wife. This word surprised them both. It felt strangely natural, but also wrong at the same time. 2 weeks later, as Rachel was leaving Dolphins training, her teammate Jennifer Bailey approached her. Rachel, I should congratulate you. I read the news about your marriage. Rachel smiled. Thanks, Jen. But something strange. How did you meet Alex Hernandez? Because the papers are saying you were never seen together before. Rachel's pulse quickened. This was the first real test. Actually, we kept our relationship very secret to avoid media pressure. I see, but wasn't it very sudden? I mean, last month you were saying you were completely single. Rachel was preparing to answer when her phone rang. It was Alex. Sorry, Jen, my husband is calling. She answered the phone. Alex, Rachel, we have a problem. An ESPN journalist wants an interview after the Miami Heat game, from both of us, together. Rachel's stomach clenched. When? Tonight. There's a red carpet event. We need to go as a couple. Okay, we'll talk when I get home. When she hung up, Jennifer was still watching her. Is everything okay, Rachel? Yes, it's just getting used to being married is hard. Jennifer nodded suspiciously. If you want to talk, I'm here. When she got home, Alex had scattered a bunch of magazines and newspapers on the living room table. Rachel, we have a problem, he said, his eyes worried. The media is looking for inconsistencies in our story. Rachel picked up the newspaper. What do you mean? Look at this headline. Alex Hernandez and Rachel Torres' quick marriage raises suspicions. The couple had never been seen together before. This is bad, Rachel said. It gets worse. At tonight's event, we need to be very convincing. We need to act like a real couple. Rachel looked at Alex. What do you mean by acting like a real couple? Talking like lovers, touching each other, looking intimate. They both understood how difficult this would be. Alex, I'm not an actress. I'm not good at these kinds of things. Neither am I, Rachel. But we need to learn. Alex stood up and approached her. Let's rehearse. What? Let's rehearse acting like lovers. Let's be prepared tonight. Rachel hesitated. How? Alex put his hand on her arm. Like this. Natural touches. Rachel's skin tingled at that touch. Then we talk like this, Alex said, softening his voice. Honey, what are you thinking? Rachel's heart was racing. This feels very real. Good. That's what we want, but they both felt that this wasn't fake. That evening at the charity event in the luxury hotel ballroom at Miami Beach, the city's most important names were gathered. As photographers flashed their cameras on the red carpet, Alex and Rachel walked hand in hand toward the hotel entrance. Rachel wore a stunning black dress while Alex in his classic tuxedo created perfect harmony. Are you ready? Alex whispered. No, Rachel whispered back but kept smiling. The first journalist approached. Alex. Rachel, congratulations on your marriage. How did such a quickly developing love story begin? Alex pulled Rachel closer by her waist. Sometimes love comes so suddenly that you can't resist it. Rachel leaned against Alex's chest. From the first moment I saw him, I knew he was someone special. As they said these sentences, they were looking into each other's eyes, and strangely, the lies felt real. Rachel, how will this marriage affect your career? Alex supports me in everything, Rachel said, holding Alex's hand tightly. Having such a husband is a great blessing. Alex stroked Rachel's hair. This gesture looked very natural, but it was unexpected for both of them. So, your future plans? Are you thinking about children? Neither was prepared for this question. A moment of panic. We're focusing on our careers right now, Alex said quickly. But of course, we plan to expand our family in the future. Rachel was amazed at how quickly Alex could think. When the journalists moved away, they moved to a quiet corner of the ballroom. We handled that well, Rachel said. Yes, but it was very tiring. This constant acting's going to kill me. Rachel noticed that Alex was still holding her hand. Alex? What? You're still holding my hand? Alex looked surprised and pulled his hand back. Sorry, I guess it became a habit, but they were both thinking about how natural that hand-holding had felt. Throughout the event, they met various people, always as a couple. Each time they played the role of loving spouses, and each time it became a little easier. When they returned home, they were tired and quiet. Tonight went well, Alex said in the elevator. Yes, you acted very well. So did you. But they were both starting to question whether this was acting. In the third month of marriage, routine life was starting to settle. When Rachel came home from morning training, Alex was making coffee. When Alex returned home in the evening, Rachel was preparing something in the kitchen. Living like fake spouses was evolving into being real housemates. But problems were also starting. Alex, Rachel said one evening when she caught him watching television, I need to learn something about you. What? My mother's coming tomorrow. Alex turned off the television and sat up. What do you mean she's coming? I'm picking her up from the airport. She's staying for a week. Rachel, this wasn't part of the plan. Our families weren't supposed to learn the truth. She won't learn it, but I need to tell her some things about my husband. Who you are, what you're like, what you like. Alex stood up and started pacing around the living room. This is very risky, Rachel. What if she gets suspicious? She won't get suspicious. But you need to tell me about yourself. Alex paused. Until now, they had only been business partners, not opening up their personal lives to each other. What do you want to know? Rachel sat on the couch. Everything. Where you're from, what your family is like, what you enjoy. Rachel, this is very personal. Alex, we're married, at least on paper. If we're going to do this job properly, we need to know each other. Alex sighed and sat across from her. Okay, but you'll tell me about yourself too. Deal. Alex began to speak. I grew up in Mexico City. My father was a construction worker. My mother was a cleaner. We were very poor. Football was my only way out. Rachel listened carefully. I came to America when I was 16, on a talent visa. My mother supported me, but my father was against it. He said, "My son is abandoning his country." When did your mother die? Alex's eyes filled with tears. Last year, cancer. While I was playing here, she was fighting alone in Mexico. Rachel's heart ached. Alex, I'm so sorry. That's why staying in America is so important to me. My mother's last wish before she died was to see me successful here. Rachel was starting to look at Alex differently. This wasn't just a selfish athlete wanting a visa. He had a real story and real pain. Now you, Alex said. Rachel also told her story. Her middle-class family in England, her passion for football, her dream of coming to America. It was past midnight, but they were still talking. Rachel, Alex said finally, you're much more complex than I thought. So are you, Alex? That night, as they both went to their beds, they felt they were really starting to get to know each other. Rachel's mother, Margaret Torres, was an elegant 55-year-old British woman with sharp intelligence. From the moment Rachel picked her up from the airport, she was bombarding her with questions about Alex. Rachel, darling, this Alex is really very sudden. You never mentioned him before. In the car, moving through Miami traffic, Rachel was listing the lies she had prepared. Mom, we kept our relationship very secret to avoid media pressure. I understand. But what kind of man is he? Does he treat you well? Very well, Mom. He's very kind and understanding. When they arrived home, Alex was prepared. He was dressed in a suit, had bought flowers, and was displaying perfect gentleman manners. Mrs. Torres, I'm very pleased to meet you, Alex said in perfect English. Oh my, you're very handsome, Margaret said, smiling, and your English is very good. Thank you. Rachel has told me so much about you. During the first dinner, Margaret was constantly asking questions. Alex, how did you meet Rachel? Alex and Rachel's eyes met. It was time to tell the story they had prepared. Actually, we met at a charity event, Alex said. Rachel was speaking so beautifully and intelligently. And Alex was very impressive too, Rachel added. But that night there was only courtesy between us. Then we ran into each other by chance at a cafe, Alex continued, and that day we really talked. Margaret was nodding, but her eyes were analyzing every detail. So how did you decide to get married? Wasn't it very quick? They were prepared for this critical question. Mom, Rachel said, sometimes real love comes so suddenly. When I talked to Alex, I felt like I had known him for years. Alex reached for Rachel's hand and squeezed it. Exactly. We both knew this was right. Margaret watched this hand squeeze carefully. When they were getting ready for bed that night, Margaret approached her daughter. Rachel, can we talk? Of course, Mom. Margaret closed the door and sat next to her daughter. Darling, Alex seems like a very good man. But something is strange. Rachel's heart sped up. What do you mean? You two, how should I put it? You don't act like newlyweds yet. There's distance between you. Mom, we're not the intimate type. Margaret looked at her daughter with skeptical eyes. Rachel, I was married for 30 years. I know what newlywed couples are like. You don't touch each other. You talk from a distance. Mom, please. Every couple is different. I hope everything is okay, darling, because I love you very much and I want you to be happy. Rachel hugged her mother, feeling guilty inside. The next evening, while Margaret was preparing dinner in the kitchen, Rachel and Alex were watching television in the living room. Suddenly, Margaret screamed, Alex, can you help me? Alex rushed to the kitchen. What happened, Mrs. Torres? I cut my hand, it's bleeding. Indeed, Margaret's hand was bleeding. Alex immediately started giving first aid. Rachel, bring medical supplies, Alex called out. For the next 10 minutes, Alex very calmly and effectively bandaged Margaret's hand, stopped the bleeding, and calmed her down. Do we need to go to the hospital? Alex asked worriedly. No, much better. Alex, thank you so much. You really are a wonderful person. After this incident, Margaret's view of Alex completely changed, but at the same time, she started asking her daughter different questions. Rachel, when Alex loves you this much, why are you so distant toward him? Mom, what do you mean? He protects and cares for you at every opportunity, but you act like you're running away from him. Rachel knew this was true. Alex was really being kind, but she had built walls. That night, Alex approached her. Rachel, it didn't escape your mother's notice. We two don't look very natural. What should we do? I don't know. Maybe we should spend more time together. Try to become real friends. Friends? At least let's get to know each other better. That way it'll be easier to be fake. But they were both feeling that this was moving away from being fake and becoming something else. When Margaret's visit ended, Rachel was relieved. But this peace didn't last long. One evening, Alex came home in a panic. Rachel, we have a big problem. What happened? One of the journalists is suspicious, Sarah Coleman from Miami Herald. She's investigating our marriage. Rachel's face went pale. What has she learned? She doesn't know anything definitive yet, but she's asking questions. She's talked to witnesses, our old friends. No one has seen us together before. This is bad, Alex. Very bad. Alex was pacing around the room. If we get caught, we'll both face deportation. Moreover, federal crime, prison. Stop, Rachel said. Let's not panic. She doesn't know anything definitive yet. Maybe we can be more convincing. How? Rachel thought. We need to be more visible. People need to see us together, like a real couple. What do you mean? We'll go shopping together, eat at restaurants, walk on the beach. People should see us as a happy married couple. Alex nodded. You're right. But Rachel, this means we'll spend much more time together. I know, but we have no other choice. The next day they started implementing their plans. They went to the shopping mall together, walked hand in hand, laughed with each other. Every moment was like a performance. But while shopping, something unexpected happened. Rachel, this dress would look great on you, Alex said, pointing to a blue dress. Do you really like this, or are you just acting? Alex paused. I don't know. Both, I guess. This sentence made them both think. The line between fake and real was blurring. When they returned home that evening, they were tired, but strangely happy. Today was actually fun, Rachel said. I was thinking the same thing. You're a very nice person, Rachel, when you're not acting. Rachel looked at him. So are you, Alex. They were sitting in the living room, drinking wine and talking about the day. Alex, sometimes I wonder, what if we had actually met under normal circumstances? What do you mean? Without the fake marriage. Like, if we had met normally. Alex took a sip of his wine. Maybe we would have actually dated. Do you really think that? Alex moved closer to her. Rachel, the time I spend with you doesn't feel fake anymore. Rachel's heart started beating wildly. Alex, I know this is complicated. I know this was supposed to be just business, but Alex's face was very close to Rachel's face. But what? But I'm falling in love with you. These words shocked them both. Alex hadn't planned to say this. Alex, this is very dangerous. I know, but it's true. Rachel was torn. She was feeling her own emotions too, but she knew how complicated this could become. Rachel, Alex said softly, if you're feeling something too, I am feeling something, Rachel admitted. That's why I'm scared. Alex brought his hand to her face. Maybe we don't have to be scared. When they kissed, this time it wasn't fake. It was a passionate kiss, full of real emotions. They both let themselves go completely. When they separated, they were both breathless. This changes everything, Rachel said. I know, but maybe this isn't a bad thing. The next morning they were both strangely shy. The fake marriage had turned into real feelings, and they didn't know what this meant. Rachel, Alex said at breakfast, we need to talk about last night. I know, but I don't know what to say. Neither do I. This situation is very complicated. Rachel sat across from him at the table. Alex, if we really want to be together, we need to change the rules. What do you mean? The fake marriage isn't fake anymore. But there are still legal problems. We're both not citizens yet. Alex nodded. You're right. If we switch to a real relationship now and get caught, everything becomes more complicated. So what do we do? Alex thought for a long time. Maybe we can try to be real, slowly. What does that mean? We try to live like a real couple, but we're still careful, until we're both safe. Rachel smiled at this suggestion. So no more separate rooms? Alex blushed. If you want, no. That night they slept together in Alex's room. For the first time, they felt like a real couple. 2 weeks later, when they had really started living together, the Sarah Coleman journalist threat returned. Alex was on the phone, his voice worried. Okay, I understand. Thank you. When he hung up, Rachel was waiting curiously. Sarah Coleman is publishing an interview tomorrow with the headline, NFL's Fake Marriage. Rachel's whole body tensioned. What evidence does she have? Not much, actually, but she's raising suspicions. She's planning to make people suspicious of us. What are we going to do? Alex hugged Rachel. I don't know, but whatever happens, we'll get through it together. Alex, if we get caught, we won't get caught, because we're not fake anymore, Rachel. We really love each other. Rachel looked at him. Really? Really. I love you, Rachel. I love you too, Alex. These words felt real for the first time. When the newspaper came out the next day, the article was less damaging than expected. Sarah Coleman had written her suspicions but couldn't provide definitive proof. But following the article, the FBI started an investigation. 2 federal agents want to see us, Alex said after hanging up the phone. When? Tomorrow. That night, neither of them could sleep. When FBI agents Evans and Martinez arrived in the morning, Alex and Rachel were trying to be prepared. Mr. Hernandez, Ms. Torres, we're investigating fake marriage allegations, Agent Evans said. This is completely ridiculous, Rachel said firmly. We're really in love and married. Then you won't have a problem answering our questions, Agent Martinez said. They were interrogated separately for 3 hours. Alex's favorite color, Rachel's favorite food, their first night together, information about families. They answered most questions correctly because they really knew each other now. After the agents left, Alex and Rachel hugged each other. Do you think we succeeded? Rachel asked. I don't know, but we did our best. 2 weeks later, Alex and Rachel received a letter from the Federal Immigration Office. They opened it together. Following investigation, your marriage has been determined to be valid. They both breathed a sigh of relief. We did it, Alex. We did it. But after the moment of joy, there was a strange silence. Rachel, Alex said, what happens now? What do you mean? We're both safe now. According to our original agreement, we were supposed to divorce now. Rachel hadn't thought about this. It wasn't a fake marriage anymore. There were real feelings. But technically, that old agreement was still valid. What do you want, Alex? I want you, Rachel. I want a real marriage. Rachel smiled. I want you too. Alex knelt down and pulled out a real engagement ring. Rachel Torres, my fake wife, my real love, will you really marry me? Rachel, with tears in her eyes, said, yes. 1 year later, Rachel and Alex were having their second wedding ceremony on Miami Beach. This time, there were real guests, real emotions, and real future plans. Rachel's mother, Margaret, had really started to love Alex. Alex's father had come from Mexico and was seeing his son's happiness. Is it real this time? Maya asked as Rachel's maid of honor. It's real this time, Rachel said, smiling. During the ceremony, when Alex addressed Rachel, you entered my life as a fake marriage, but you stayed as real love. Rachel also responded, you agreed to marry me to save me, but actually you stole my heart. When they kissed, this time everyone was applauding. There was real joy. On their honeymoon, Rachel asked Alex, did you ever regret it? Accepting the fake marriage proposal? Never, because it brought me to you. Did you regret it? Never. It was my best decision. They both now knew. Sometimes the most fake beginnings lead to the most real endings. Alex put his hand on Rachel's hand. Now this hand-holding wasn't fake, wasn't acting. It was real love, real commitment, and a real future. From fake marriage to real love, Alex said. From real love to forever, Rachel completed. As the sun set on the Miami horizon, a new chapter of their story that began fake but continued real was beginning.